Hello everyone, it's Julie from sproutsandstems.com here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a few plant chores, a little bit of repotting, and then some cleaning up of my Venus flytrap. So before I get into that, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new planty content from me. Any supplies or plants that I mentioned in my videos can be found at the link in the video description. It's a page on my website where I keep everything. And also in the video description are links to my Patreon or YouTube membership for exclusive planty content and to get houseplant help. And now I'll get into the video. Rainy, gloomy day. I also have a pile of laundry. Ignore that. Oh, and before I forget, next week is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. If you're in the US, I'm very thankful for this community, very thankful for you guys. I will not be posting next week because of the holiday. And I think the week after will be just like a little planty updates video because I haven't done one of those in a while. I do have a few updates that I'm excited to share. Let's start cleaning up the Venus flytrap. So here is what I have currently. Here, half of it has died back, and Venus flytraps normally do have a dormancy period. So this is all like normal to see some dieback. I'm thinking I'm not going to have this go into a full-on dormancy. This plant is still really young, so I think it'll be like okay without a dormancy period and strong enough, but eventually, if I have this for years and years and years, I will need to give it a little bit of rest in the winter time. So what we're doing now is I'm just going to clean up some of this dead growth. I have these teeny tiny scissors. They're not my normal plant scissors, but I need something very teeny tiny and delicate. And I'm just going to cut off the growth and just plop it in here, the dead growth. I'm also gonna put on gloves on this hand anyway, because there's something about the little hairs that just kind of like freak me out a little bit. I know they're not like, it's not that I think they're dangerous to touch or anything, but I don't know, it's a weird thing. Try to cut off the dead growth without disturbing the live growth too much. Carefully. Oh, and there are a few little bugs crawling around in here, actually. That's cool. I do have tweezers, but they're large terrarium tweezers, so they're helpful for these kind of tasks on bigger plants. Just clearing out some of the debris away from the healthy new growth. All right, I think this is good. There's a little bit more debris around the base of, looks like these two rosettes. There's a big rosette and then a tiny rosette, but this is good for now. Very cute. Nice and red from being outdoors all summer. I just brought it in a few weeks ago, right before we had our first freeze. Oops, I accidentally triggered that one a little bit. Sorry. Next, I want to repot these two spider plant and rainbow moss / peacock fern. Ideally, I would save this one for last because it's Giselle's favorite, so I kind of want to just like bring it out at the very end, do it really quick, and then put it back away before she gets the chance to play with it, because she's napping over there, but if she happens to like come out and see the spider plant, she's gonna freak out. But I want to pot this into the spider plant's pot. This is the one that I think I mentioned during my fall plant tour. It like totally died, completely died, but now it's coming back. But it's like really sparse and it has a really shallow, dainty root system, so it really doesn't need to be in this like big pot. I'm going to repot spider plant In here, I'm going to pot them both in sphagnum moss because I've been realizing lately that I really like having my plants in sphagnum moss. It seems to work really well for them and for me. I started noticing this because sometimes I propagate plants in sphagnum moss. I would just like keep them growing in the sphagnum moss like forever. It's also easy because it holds on to moisture for longer. Anyway, I've noticed a few benefits to potting my plants up in sphagnum moss, and it's been easier for them and for me. Got some nice light, fluffy, very, very lightly moist sphagnum moss and my pot. So I am going to plop said moss into the bottom, just get a little base layer going. Little base layer never hurt anyone. I got my leftover lunch plate that's going in the dishwasher, so I'm just using it for this. Spider plant is very dry. Ideally, I would have watered it before this. I'm just getting rid of some of the excess soil. I kind of would like to actually just totally separate all these plants, but that might cause unnecessary trauma that I don't feel like dealing with right now. I got rid of a lot of the excess potting mix and a decent amount of the root ball, but I got rid of like the very, very fine roots. Spider plants have these thick tuberous roots that enable them, there's a nice thick one right there, that enable them to go long periods of time without water. So I kept those on, I didn't touch those, and I just got rid of like the teeny like fine roots. And then I gave the root ball a good soaking. And now I'm going to just plop it in here. Now I'm going to fill in the sides with more sphagnum, pack it down. The crown of the plant was significantly showing in like on the potting mix surface, like all these roots and everything, and that's like a pretty good indicator that the plant needs to be repotted. So it'll still show a little in this pot, but it's definitely, I'm lowering the crown a bit more so it's not so like obnoxiously out there. I'm happy with this. Got the moss all tucked down in there, let it settle a bit. Also, this is spider plant Bonnie, by the way, which is why some of the leaves are a little bit curlier. Not as curly as it could be, but a little bit curlier than a normal spider plant. Yay, and Giselle is none the wiser, so I'm gonna stick this somewhere where she can't get to it, and then we'll move on to the rainbow moss. Had to lose a layer. It was getting hot up in here with all these planty activities. Last but not least, I did give this pot a quick little scrub down. I didn't do anything super thorough or crazy, but I did rinse it out, gave it a quick little scrub down, make sure no lingering things were in there from the spider plant. And now I've got a pretty high base layer because, as I mentioned earlier, the root system is so shallow, so it's not going to need a lot of space for the root system. And because I don't want to take this whole entire giant root ball out, well, I was thinking maybe I would use like a spoon to scoop out. We're going to try the spoon method. If it doesn't work, I am going to take out the whole root ball and plop it in here and then just kind of like shave off the layer that I want. Have you ever scooped a plant before? I just realized I was not even holding it in camera. Sorry. This is so crazy, it just might work. All right, taking off, the watch is coming off. I'm going in with my hands because sometimes it's what must be done. Yes, I have gloves literally right next to me, but sometimes it's better to like feel what's going on. Yeah, okay. All right, I am feeling a few roots that have reached down a little bit, but nothing crazy. Even though this plant is not moss, that's why it's a nickname rainbow moss, because it kind of just like grows along the surface and just like does whatever. So it is pretty easy to work with, and considering literally the entire thing died in my care over the summer and I brought it back to this, I'm confident that even if I did just like shock the living daylights out of it, that it will all be okay in the end. And I'm not going to try too much, even though there's sphagnum moss below this, I'm not going to try too much to get the leftover potting mix out of here just because it's so delicate. I don't want to like completely freak out this plant, so I'm just kind of going to keep the top layer of soil that came with it on here, and that'll be that. I'm going to finish by just spraying it down. This little sprayer thing is great. I have a bigger one that I use sometimes, but my boyfriend gave me this little one because he wasn't using it, and it's like so nice for plants, especially indoor plants. Like the bigger one was good for outside, but now that we're inside for the winter, this one is like where it's at. I will link to this at the page that I mentioned on my website. It is in the description. I think that ended up being kind of long, this whole video. Let's see how far I can edit it down, but that's it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Remember, again, I won't be posting next week, but happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with family and friends, and I will see you all next time.